Mark, I was wondering if we could introduce the judges and perhaps have them say a few words about their approach to judging and how they felt about the pictures they were looking at this month.
All right.
Introduce them.
First of all, Brian Nixon got a last-minute schedule conflict. So I'll be reading his critiques. He did all the work, but I'm going to be mouthing the words. And on occasion, I might throw in my own opinion, but mostly it's just going to be what he sent me or he posted, and I'll be reading it. So I'll look like President Trump on a good speech. Ed is
Yes.
our second judge, and Josh is also one of our judges. So if you guys have some comments you want to make?
I never have.
Say it was.
Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it was very hard to judge. There's a lot of really good pictures. Very hard to rank them.
Yeah.
I do want to give thanks to all the judges as always, but also I want to thank Mary for helping me work on some information for how to run the competitions in case something happens to me or I just don't like doing it anymore. I've put together kind of a book or a little few pages of information about what needs to be done. There's quite a few steps, but I feel gotten reasonably comfortable with it now. The software we're using makes things a lot easier to do. I also want to thank Clay for editing and reformatting the judges manual that we've been working on. So both of these things are going to be available on the website. I really encourage the judges to look at the material that's there because there's a lot of good stuff. One thing we want to emphasize is that judging is about trying to bring out the positives of an image. It's not so much about saying all the bad things, but we also, want to give the author an idea about what could make their image better. Judges have been reminded more than once that they want to try to do this as objectively as possible and keep their own preferences for style of photography. In other words, if you just think bird photography is the most boring thing, well, that's fine. You don't have to take pictures of birds. But if you're judging a picture and it's a bird, you should judge it on its merits, not on the fact that you don't like birds, so you're not going to say anything about it. It helps to make you a better judge and to better appreciate photography because, face it, there's a lot of different subjects and styles out there, and we can learn from all of them. So make the most of your experience when you're a judge, and maybe you'll even get ideas about things you want to do with your own photography.
Yeah, and to piggyback what Mark's saying, my own philosophy for those of you who don't know, I'll say it again, but I judge the photo based on what I think it's trying to be. So imagine if you went to a movie that had a scary movie poster, you would judge it on how scary the movie was. You wouldn't judge it as a drama, right? So if you went to a comedy, you would judge it on how much it made you laugh, right? So for me, I try to judge it. Oh, yeah, thanks for that. I try to judge a photo on what the photo is telling me it's trying to be about. But the second bigger part of all this is that when we ask for volunteers for judges, the work that Mark has done and others have done to help him put together judging manuals and made it more structured, you don't really have a good excuse for feeling like you're not qualified enough to judge because they've put together enough training manuals and information and resources where with just a little bit of effort, everybody should be able to do it. Yeah. So thank you, Mark. Thank you for all those who've helped Mark in that. Because although I enjoy judging, it's not great if I do it all the time. And so when we ask volunteers, I think it's a good exercise both in making you a better photographer in doing it and judging. It's going to thicken up your skin because you're going to see kind of what you have to go through to do it as well. But I just think it's good, right? It helps the strength of the club. It's only as good as those who are volunteering. And so, A, thanks to all those who've helped make it better. But B, I don't want to hear any excuses when we ask you to volunteer. No more excuses.
Would you consider Mark or Josh or Ed? Is there a way for someone to be an understudy judge without actually being the judge? Like if I wanted to try it out, can I see the judge criteria and mark it and score it?
That might be an excellent suggestion.
That's a great suggestion. Yeah.
Something to help you get your confidence about the mechanics of doing it.
Yeah.
And, I'm available most of the time for people to call me and guide them through it if they're having trouble. But, and also to get your, then you can see how you compare to the other judges. And you got to remember, these are all opinions. And, you'll see that they vary substantially, which brings to mind a question that I'm not going to put up for discussion tonight, but something for people to think about. Currently, we have the judges doing their work completely independently. So something to think about, because I know in the big competitions, like PSA and perhaps PPA, I don't know about them, but
yeah, PPA does do collaborative.
Yeah, the judges talk among themselves about the images. Now that might be a little bit more of a problem for us trying to get everybody able to talk to each other at one time, but it's just something that we might want to consider. I could see some benefits of that for sure.
I can see some downsides too. I've done it. I've randomly judged the Guadalupe County 4-H show for the last couple of years in photography. And it's collaborative. There's like 3 of us. And if I didn't have a loud voice and if I wasn't a really like annoying person, some really bad photos would have made it to the top. But the downside is that typically then the loudest voice wins, and it's not necessarily adjudged. It becomes groupthink, I think. And so I think by averaging out the scores, you get the benefit of that without having to. We don't need to have consensus because our scoring averages out our consensus without somebody like me swaying the poll, right? Somebody like, I've judged a lot. If it was a first-time judge and I say something, they're going to defer to me. And so that's not a good situation. I don't want that to happen.
I get your point.
Yeah. So, I mean, the scores average out themselves to begin with. So it takes the numbers take into account the variance.
All right. Well, I have to agree with you.
Because I'm the loudest voice. I know. It's probably
because in this case, and at some point, if, people aren't happy with the way it's going, we'll hear about it and we'll do what we need to change. But right now, I'm not hearing any complaints. So
I think honestly, Mark, and this is, again, a credit to you and the people that have helped you. We're able to judge and get through more images faster than we've ever been able to get through and judge. And I think that, there certainly could be, there's always room for improvement, but I feel pretty strong in the submissions we've been getting. Really, guys, everybody here, there's some really, really good, there's all across the board, basic, intermediate, advanced. Man, there's great photos. I tell the story all the time, but if y'all could see the photos that got submitted for the first year, and literally the first meeting we had 11 photos, right? And so to see the depth and the breadth of what gets submitted, I can't tell you how much it warms my heart just to see the growth. But what's really cool, the people that have submitted over the years and have gotten the feedback, their work has improved. And that's really the crux of it. by coming to the meetings, by submitting photos, by being a judge, by listening to what the judges have to say, even if you don't agree with 100% of what they say, I certainly hope you don't. I don't even agree with 100% of what I say. But it's all geared around the idea of we want you to be the best photographer that you can be. And by seeing what everybody does, by having transparency in our critiques, y'all know y'all can go to the website, NAPfS, Visual Pursuits website, and you can go back and read every critique on every photo we've done. And so if you want information, there is a ton of information on there. And if you want to learn, you learn by getting mental reps. So Clay, you were asking about how to be kind of an assistant judge. Just when you see the photos come through, just start sorting them in your head. Oh yeah, I would have this one above. Oh, I could see where that one's lower. And it's those mental reps. And then when it comes around to it, you're ready to go. But I know I say it every meeting, but man, there's so much interesting work. Judging is really, I enjoy it. And what's fun, my 9-year-old who pops up in my screen a lot, his name's Colton. He loves helping me out too. He loves all y'all's nature photographer, all the nature photos. And so, man, he gets so excited seeing them every month. And so just know that y'all are having an impact more than just on the people you see on camera. There are people that maybe don't show up to the meeting, but, submit photos or whatever. But our impact is bigger than we think. So, keep doing what y'all are doing. We're always up for improving. But I think the system is pretty good right now. Yeah. What's up, Clay?
Well, I was just going to say, I hope people are taking advantage of the opportunity to vote as a popular voting. So I was going to ask Ed how many people took advantage of popular voting, and I do. It gets me familiar with the images, and I can at least put them in some order.
I forget, it was it was like 15 the last I checked, I think.
It was 20 at 20? Closing time.
Okay.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's a third? No, it's more than that. That's almost 2/3. If 60 photos were submitted, that means 30 people. So then that's 2/3 of people voted. I didn't vote on people's choice. Whenever I judge, I feel weird to vote on people's choice because I feel like I'm double dipping. So yeah. I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, is there any photo club other stuff? We just had another month run at West Pecan Coffee. I'm trying to get back in touch with them to find out when we're going to be there again. I don't know what we're going to do for the next one, but we'll be having a gallery show there sometime this year. I don't know when yet. We're working on that. And I don't know. Anything else going on?
Well, I just think we all should thank Patty for coordinating and getting the word out. And
Patty
people going to pick up their photos, got the word, and we needed to pick them up Tuesday.
Yeah. West Pecan did not give me a lot of heads up time on that one, but it's okay.
It was good.
Thanks everybody for being so understanding about the last minute. Hey, go pick up your art, and for taking. And Josh, I assume you got the ones that weren't able to, but thanks for everybody for your help with that. And I'm looking at maybe about 4 different categories of topics to have for future shows. I thought I'd maybe even ask the owner what she would like to see. But the 4 categories are, and I figure we should be able to show there enough that we can do all 4. Landscapes, portraits, birds, and a separate one for wildlife, because we have so many people doing birds and wildlife. I think that sounds appropriate. So if anybody wants to get feedback on that, or if they have other ideas, please let me know.
Okay. And one more thing, talking about art shows and whatnot. I don't know if y'all are familiar with roundrockarts.org. It's they have the Downtown Art Gallery right there in downtown Round Rock. But they have a couple calls for art right now. They have one right now for the pandemic perspective. So art created during the quarantine/pandemic. that kind of talk to that. So if you have any photos that kind of speak to that, they're taking. It's a jury show. It's paid to submit, but it'll be up in their gallery. I think in October. So it's roundrockarts.org. They're a real good organization. So if y'all looking for places to get your artwork out there, I would sign up for their mailing list. They have a lot of really good stuff. They do run some workshops and stuff as well. I know that Ted Keller who's one of our past speakers, is going to be leading a workshop there sometime. I don't know when. And I put the link in the chat bar. So if you go to the chat bar in this meeting, you'll see it. So, yay, art. Okay. Anybody else have anything else? Oh, we want to go ahead and get on with it.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay, Steven, you're like half man, half bear. It keeps like cloning out the top of your head and just leaves like just the bear. That's good.
All right, Ed,
Huh?
The bear
you want to get?
Oh,
moves. I want to see
what's
the
that,
bear.
Patty?
I want to see the like move, attacking.
Oh, you want it? Oh, you want like an animated bear?
Yeah. Well, I want a real bear, really. But
What was that movie? The Revenant, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The edge.
All right, Mark, the presenter.
All right. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let's see. Image competition. And we're going to show. Okay, we're going to start off with the basic division. We have 26 images. A lot of really good stuff. We're going to just go through them automatically here, about 7 seconds an image. And then we'll go back for more afterwards. Yeah, I wasn't lying. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Okay, we're going to go through them again. And this time, judges will, we've selected, the judges have picked 3 images that they want to talk about tonight in each class. So we'll hear 9 little discussions in each class. And let's see if I can make this manual. Make sure I've got control of it here. Okay, so this one is a shadow of myself at 70. And I'll have comments on this one, but all images have comments on the website. So if you want to hear anything tonight about your image, you can go to the website and you can see how it was scored and what the judges thought were positives with your image and areas that could use some improvement. This is winner chicken dinner.
All right.
I think you're going to talk about this.
Yeah, this is mine. Well, first off, when I saw this, I thought it was a very happy photo. I mean, the smiles on the guy's face are really good. I think it's a really good set of portraits. The chicken obviously refers to the rotisserie. The black and white, I think, worked really well. Anyway, I think it's a great picture. The only thing I wondered about was what the 2 guys were looking at. So, but other than that, you know, like I say, it's a really good picture.
Okay. All right. Next is Hook'em. An appropriate title, I think. Jugs and ropes. Trufala.
I'm so glad you said that out loud. I had no idea how to pronounce that.
Should be Trufala, but I choose to say that one. When will I be loved?
Oh.
Autumn leaves, and this one was from Brian. And Brian's words were, he thought this was a really amazing shot with great timing. As I looked at this, I figured it had to be birds, but I had to look really closely to make sure it just wasn't some giant gust of wind that had knocked all the leaves off of one tree. But if you look closely, it's birds. It's just spectacular catch there. I like the way that the amber of the leaves contrasted with metallic blues and greens of the background. I thought that could have even been accentuated by playing a little bit with the saturation and luminance to bring out that contrast of those somewhat complementary colors. But nonetheless, it really is a beautiful capture with both the color and the timing. Kind of, you know, the action at its peak. And there's definitely instills an emotional reaction as you see all these birds in this huge glass. You can't help but be amazed. The composition, so well done. Next is the colorful forest. Independence Day at home.
Who is that masked man?
At least he put his own pictures in of mine for a change. Droplet is the next image. Next, Ed's going to tell us what he thinks about Gotta Keep It Shiny.
Yep, another great photo. The reflection is really good. The colors are great. I think I think it captures, I mean, you can, obviously, obviously it's an airplane and you can see the airport in the reflection. It would have been interesting to have submitted it on the contest we had on reflections, but anyway, I think again it's a really good photo. Contrast is great. The sky is great. I really liked it. Good photo.
Okay, thank you. Above the nest. Hummingbirds. And I'll talk about this. This really is a superb image. I mean, the lighting is awesome. It looks to me like a flash was used. You can see the specular highlights in the eyes. The birds are super sharp, as are the flowers. And the background is appropriately blurred. Great, and it's, Brian noted that the background was darkened down a little bit, or just turned out dark because the flash probably fades out as you get to the background. So it makes the birds pop even more. Let's see, great, complementary colors here with the greenish background, aquamarine background, and the pink flowers. Peak of action, of course, with hummingbirds and a flash. That's what you get. Strong composition using the whole frame. So well done, and just another great way to shoot birds. Moving on, we've got Shining Moon. Plumeria aplenty. And that's Josh.
Yeah, I think the images I picked to talk about, I think they're really exemplary of what kind of basic is, where like the idea is right, but getting that just refinement down. So I thought this photo had some really good potential. So one of the things we talk about in photography is the rule of odds, and it's not just a photo taken by me, but a rule of odd, meaning subjects as 1, 3s, 5s, 7s instead of 2s, 4s, 6s are more interesting. And so in this case, we have these plumerias with this really cool yellow center with the white coming out. And so the rule of odds would say, show those 3, right? Show those 3. So this photo punched in about, 40, 50%, where it's just those 3 kind of in a diagonal. I think is a lot stronger. By showing less, I think it can make it more impactful, and we'll see some more examples of that later. But I think the idea was right. I would get closer. The whites in the petals really make them white, as they are now. By not making them white, they look a little, not dirty, but just not as probably bright as they were seeing them with your human eye. All right, the camera eye is always, whenever it sees whites, it tries to underexpose. And so that's kind of one of those adjustments we have to make, is overexposing whites because the camera tries to underexpose them. So I think just with a little bit poppier white, and then punching in to where we get just those 3 centers, and make this photo a little bit more abstract could really, really take it up, a couple notches.
Thanks, Josh. Next is Desert Ruins. Save the Clock Tower. And what's up, Josh?
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, I like this. Again, I think this is probably from Lost El Pache or somewhere very similar, where you get those kind of blues and ambers, and I think that's always a good color combination to try to emulate, right? Getting that blue orange or cyan orange, those warm, cool tones. That's kind of the most naturalistic color combination. So I think good job there. I like that the bird is doing something other than just sitting there kind of looking up, makes you wonder, but it also provides a good arc and a good diagonal in the frame. I think the crop was good to kind of fit the crop to the subject and not just leaving it as the standard 3x2 digital crop. So, you know, there was some forethought in there. I would say, I don't know, when I was looking at it, it felt like something had been, like a brush tool had been used around the head. And it just needed a little bit more refinement. It seemed, I don't know, maybe it was just the way it was saved. I'm not sure. But I'd be curious to know if a brush tool was used around the head and the beak, because there's a little bit of a halo around it. At least on mine, that's the way it looked. So, you know, again, it is the kind of that soft evening light, but just a little bit brighter, a little bit more poppy. It seems a little, the bird itself seems a little dull. And so, like, raising those, you know, playing with your shadows, highlights, whites, blacks to get the bird to really kind of pop off against the background. So imagine this one versus like that hummingbird, right? How that hummingbird really popped off the background. You know, I think it could be pushed into, you know, a better tier by, you know, just a little bit more refinement post processing. But you know, again, I think the idea was right, and I think what you saw was right, and getting what you were trying to get was close. It's just that level of refinement over and over, and seeing all these examples will get you there. But I think the instinct for this photo was very right. Yeah.
Good, thanks. Bird bath hawk. Crown. Why so serious?
Hey, if whoever took that is there, what is the big, like, dark spot in the left? Is that like a buffalo? What is that? No, the person who took it isn't on. When I saw this, I was like, "What is that?" I'm really curious what that is.
Beautiful birds.
Yeah.
I think it was a rock, if I remember right.
Oh, come up with, yeah. Lie to me next time.
All right.
It's the bear.
Dinosaur, dinosaur. I don't know. 57 Chevy. Just lie to me.
Another photographer.
Dead buffalo.
Yeah, yeah. Water buffalo
It's
about
the
to charge me.
bear.
Yeah.
Axe murderer.
No axe.
Summer tanager. The birds are still enforced for this competition. Cicada's last transformation.
Really good blue-orange contrast.
Yep. Sailing into Corpus. Josh, I think you wanted to.
Yeah, I do. I think this is, again, it's just another example of like the instinct being right. Right, we have a white sailboat against a blue kind of stormy sky. I think how many like 19th and 18th century paintings were this very thing, right? A stormy sailboat against, you know, the sky. Not that it's a huge storm, but you kind of get what I'm saying. You know, I think this one was close. You know, the white of the top deck is very bright, but I think the camera saw that and underexposed the rest of the photo. The other thing, just a little bit. Just kind of be aware of what you're shooting, and I would either come down further and be just above the sail, or go higher and show the end of the mast. And also, this one's I think it's a square format, but I think I would have liked to have seen it more horizontal, more, and maybe the area wasn't very nice. The other thing, maybe get a little bit lower. We have these pylons at the very bottom. So we have a buoy and we have a marker in the background. And so we have a chance for another rule of odds, right? Having a set of three, but we're kind of cropping the top off of that front buoy. So by dropping down, A, we make the boat look more heroic. B, it might have been easier to get that top mast, but then C, it would have given us a foregrounding element. So for right now, we kind of have a middle ground with the boat and then a bridge as our background. But by dropping down lower and getting that front buoy, that would have given us a foreground and given us a little bit more three-dimensionality out of it. But yeah, and then the shadows are just a little bit, you know, dark. So I would have liked to see the shadows come up just a little bit. But yeah, I think the idea was right. Right, it kind of has that idea of like that 18th century boat against the storm feel to it. Just keep working it. Going down to the coast, get out of your house. No, it's good. Just keep working on those little things, and it could be better.
Hey, thanks, Josh.
Mhm.
Next is a walk in the park, and I'll take this one for Brian. This is a beautiful exposed picture. I just love the interplay of the light and the shadows. I mean, it gives a lot of depth to this image, and got great choice of depth of field because, at least for me, because I like it sharp from front to back, and I can, see details everywhere. The color is beautiful. I love the golds and the greens and the browns. The winding path takes me on a journey through the image, makes me want to know what's back there. So technically, I think it's really well done. I love the composition. I really, and if I was going to nitpick on one thing, it would be this little spot of blue on the right side of the image, or somebody standing behind a tree, or maybe it's a jug of water. I'm not sure. I probably would have tried to clone that out, but that is really minor in what is really a very, very good picture. Okay, next is ramekins. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, this is mine. So, as Josh mentioned a little while ago, capturing white is difficult on cameras because they like to make it gray. Well, this is a white on white, which I think is done very well. I think the white cups are perfectly exposed, and the red strawberries and green leaves just really pop out of the white. I think it's an outstanding picture. Really well done.
I'm hungry. It certainly has an impact. Makes you want to have some of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Okay.
and what I like about this one too is that somebody planned to do it. It wasn't just like for basic. That's really good, right? Like having the thought of like strawberries in a bowl. I'm going to make this setup. Having that intention goes a long way.
Right.
Well done. Okay, folks, that is the basic class. And now we're going to see who the winners are. So we have 3 place winners and 5 honorable mentions. So for a total of 8 winning images. Honorable mention is Crown by Michelle Johnson.
Yeah.
A nice graphic type image. Honorable mention, Autumn Leaves by Jim Smith. Congratulations, Jim. This is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Why So Serious? Jim Smith again. Really, really great looking birds. And, they're sharp and blurred. I really enjoyed this one. And you can see the spider web.
Yeah.
This is the picture everybody wants to catch while they're driving down the road. And Donna Smith got it. It was Donna, right? Yeah. And it's just beautiful, great color and saturation, and a nice pose by a would-be bevo. Another honorable mention is Bonnie Duke's Winter Chicken Dinner. And I agree, the expressions on these guys really make it, don't they?
Yeah, that was great.
Let's see, wait, I said, okay. I'll have to skip this. 3rd place, Ramekins, Charles Schwartz.
Hey.
And just super well done. It's just hard to believe we're in the basic category. Some of you guys are going to get kicked out of there.
Yep. I love this one.
Goes to Gene Thomas for Cicada's last transformation. And I echo what Josh said about the complementary colors. I mean, that is, I've never seen a blue cicada. Is that the way they always are?
Yeah, I've never seen that.
The last stage. Well, congratulations on either catching that or painting it. Either way, it looks fantastic. And first place is Nagaraju Kajula, Falling Birds.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I love it. That's really well done.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay, folks. So much for basic. I think we're going to have to put that category.
And it's going to be like Premier League soccer. Some of y'all are about to get promoted.
Yeah. Okay, now we'll go to the intermediate division. We have 12 images in this section. And without further ado, we'll go through them. Just give everybody a look. Okay. Now we'll go through them one at a time, and most of them will have commentary since this is a relatively small. All right. First image is a very old car. Josh?
Yep. So I really like that this was taken in a different way than normal, right? There was obviously some processing going on. Went black and white, maybe have gone like, I don't know if it was Photomatics or what. But I like that you kind of took it and enhanced the details of this grimy inside. It looks like a Chevy with the RS badge. I'm not sure. But it's fun. I would say though that what we see out of the windshield is kind of the weaker part. Like I think we all instinctively go to the steering wheel and then down to the right of the photo. But then as we come back up and look out through the windshield, I wish there was more of a payoff there. Now, so a way to have handled that would have been like tilted down where it's focused more on just the car. So imagine the same shot, but tilted down, or maybe not as wide to minimize how much of the photo is the windshield, because that windshield kind of takes away from it, right? We have a car in the middle. We have a couple more cars. We have some trash cans. It doesn't. It's close, right? The idea is there, right? That grimy, greedy. I mean, you literally have like veneers like peeling off and wires dangling. I want to see more of that and less of the view, because the view is like doesn't matter, but all the detail and the grime and the grit is the interesting part. So I want to see more of that.
Okay. Next is Morning Croton Gorge. Really beautiful image, which really has a mood to it, you know, especially with this mist spilling up the valley where the river is, and that really serves as a great leading line, takes you out into the distance. Full colors, very well saturated. I like the exposure. One comment that was made by Brian was he wasn't sure about what the focus of this image was. And I can understand that because 2/3 of the image is contains these trees in the foreground on the right. You want the bridge and the valley to kind of be your highlight, but they're kind of almost a side issue. But nonetheless, I think it's still beautiful. I mean, when the sunlight hits part of the image and the rest is in shadow, and the clouds, you know, kind of waft in and out over the landscape as it heads into the distance. So kudos to the author. Let me make sure I got all of Brian's comments here. And so basically, he didn't have that much to put. No, so, yeah, I think that covers everything. So he's a good use of colors and light, instills emotion reaction, strong composition, but needs a little stronger center of focus. Okay. Next is cranes coming in for a landing.
This is mine. Yeah, this is mine. Great silhouette. Beautiful sky. I think the silhouette really adds to it. You know, I don't know if it could have been done without the silhouette. It's, you know, I think the outline of the birds is really good. I mean, they're in a diagonal, and like Josh says, there are 3 of them, so that's a good thing.
Don't be swayed by Josh.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah. Anyway, it's a really good photo. I don't know if I would have changed anything on it.
Okay. Good. Next is Rio Vista Farm, bunkhouse number 4. And Josh, I think you got that one.
Yeah, I do. There's a thought on this one, which I'll throw out to everybody is, how do you photograph emptiness? Right? It's kind of like photographing black. How do you show something that's dark with a camera, right? So, you know, I thought this one was interesting with all of the kind of like that Camaro, right? All the texture. I mean, what photographer doesn't love a grimy, textury building, old car or old face, right? That's all kind of what we go towards. You know, I think a photo like this is harder to do than you might think, like getting those beams centered all going down where one side isn't skewed heavily more on one side or the other. I don't think this photo goes all the way to all the way black either. So even on that right-hand side in the back corner, you can still see a little detail kind of all the way in the back. And so it just kind of gives your eye a lot of room to kind of move around and do something, you know, kind of follow along. You know, so I think that's all. I think all of that, the centering is really nice. The weight of it is good. The texture is good. We have these little pockets of light coming through different slats. A couple little technical things. You know, look out for chromatic aberration. I mean, it just happens. It's a thing where you have white sky against black. You're going to get a little bit of fringing, but this one's pretty heavy. So just look out for it. I don't care about it, but just something to look for. You know, and I think we have some of those little slots of light. They could have been used for something, you know, to highlight, right? If there was, you know, whatever there, you know, I don't know if it would make it a better photo, but just as a thought, you know, when we have these pockets of light to put something in those pockets, right, you could use them for something. or that open window on the right where we have that open kind of pink window. If something were there, that could be a point of interest to kind of reward the viewer for looking intently. But overall, I thought it was really well done. I think it was handled well in these conditions because this is a tough spot to shoot in, getting that exposure right.
Tell you what intrigues me is the mystery room. I mean, this obviously is a place that nobody's lived in for a long time.
Yeah.
Yet it looks like there's a light on. It's probably just sun shining through in this first room on the right, but that's just, who's living there?
Yeah. Now imagine if there was just like one hand coming out of the window, right? Or just one knife, right?
Next is Put Out to Pasture, which is perfect for me. This is a beautiful shot of a car that's seen better days. Brian really liked the framing up of this, the angle on the car, and making a more dynamic kind of image, and all the attention to that. You can really see the details in the rust. We like the fact that this was not oversaturated. Let's see what else he's got here. Oh, you like the clever title too, Put Out to Pasture. Let's see. So felt there was good use of colors and cropping. It instills an emotional reaction for him, and it was sharp in the critical areas and good composition. So kudos again to the author. This is a really nice image. And next is the old homestead. Talk about old stuff.
Okay, this is mine. I think the colors in this are beautiful. I really like stormy skies, and this is kind of a stormy sky. The house is great. I mean, it's got a lot of texture to it. Beautiful red roof, which is sort of complementary to the sky. And then the orange in the foreground kind of adds a bit of color to it too. My only suggestion, and this is purely subjective, is I probably would have gotten a little closer, to see some more of the texture in the house. I mean, the siding in the house and all the little nooks and crannies are really interesting. So anyway, I think it's a great picture.
Certainly that feeling of loneliness way out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, next is Bouquet Frame. Josh?
Yeah, I think this is again a photo that is so close. It's cool, right? We have this leading spiral. Spirals are interesting, by the way. Spiral staircases, right? We always want those. So it kind of starts and it comes into focus as it leads our line into the hummingbird. And so I think that's a really strong point of it. I think the pink and the green as color contrasts are very strong. I think the exposure is nice. The only thing that kind of throws it off for me is it feels like the crop is like 5% too tight. The edges on the right and that little ball on the left, I don't know, it just bothers me that they're touching. I would like to have seen a little space on either side of them or have it come in a little bit. It just feels like that last 5% or so is just you couldn't decide to come in more or out more. And so I kind of feel that hesitation in the cropping. But I love that spiral circle, right? It just leads your eye straight to the hummingbird. So there's a cropping tool inside Lightroom called, it has different names, but Fibonacci Spiral, where it's a crop overlay that you can use. But this is that good example of that. It's also called Golden Circle. It's been around forever. Right. But spiraling into your subject as a leading line out of focus into focus. I think that part is really, really well done. Just that crop either needs to come in a little bit or pull out a little bit. Either way would work. But just that circle on the left of the ball is cropped off. It's like cropping a portrait like right at the hairline. You can either go above the hair or like right above the eyebrows, but at the hairline is kind of weird. And that's kind of how it feels to me. But I love it has a lot going for it, right? It has a lot of good color contrast, a lot of good brightness, and a lot of good spiral leading into your subject. All great things. The only thing I would work on is just that crop just a little bit, either in a little bit more or out a little bit more.
Okay. For the people of the sun.
This is mine. Yeah. So the exposure to me is just about perfect on this. The sunset is captured very well, and as is the fire. I mean, the fire, you can see all of the various flames in it, so the shutter speed is perfect too. I mean, it really captures the fire well. I think the diagonal adds something to the photo. It basically kind of adds to the action type of the photo. It kind of implies action, which of course the flame throwing is definitely action. So I think it's once again, it's a really good photo.
This would be a good one for the capturing the critical moment. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
And not getting burned.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Ed. Next one is light painting with Andrew, and although we don't have any official commentary here, for members of the club who knew Andrew, this probably does get a real big emotional reaction. So I won't say much more about that, but nice, interesting image.
Yeah.
Ready for takeoff, and this is mine, I believe. And Brian felt it was a fun image, a great pre-flight capture. Thought that it's a little blown out in the background, and I would have to agree with that. It might be nice to bring that down a stop or two, which would be fairly easy to do in Photoshop. But I think just bringing the highlights down will probably do that in Lightroom. Let's see. Good story, peak of action. I'm going to add this. I mean, for my eyes, this looks just a tiny bit soft on the bird and the perch. So, getting, critical focus, either using, I don't think it's a motion issue, although I guess it could be, just might not be fast enough image or not enough depth of field. I'm not quite sure, but that's the impression I got out of it. Okay. And this one is called Missing Bolt. Which I guess is another way to say a screw loose. I don't know. And last in this category is Queen Pollinator. All right. So we'll go on to the winners. In this group, there were 12 images. So we have first, second, third, and one honorable mention. An honorable mention goes to Brian Nixon for Rio Vista Farm, bunkhouse number 4.
Black and white.
Third place goes to Roberto White, Trains Coming In for a Landing. Second place, The Old Homestead, Patty Robertson. And first place, Brian Nixon for The People of the Sun. Okay. Now we'll move on to the advanced category. We have 22 images in this group. And, All right, that's the images. Now we'll go through them with some commentary. So first is grasshopper. Oh yeah, okay. Josh,
Yo.
yell out when you see yours because I forgot to write down
Okay.
what your choices were in this category.
Okay.
Pilgrim.
There's one of them.
Okay.
So I want to talk about this one for a couple of reasons. One, looking at the metadata, this was shot, I think, with an iPhone. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is that I think so many times, I know for me that unless I have my quote unquote good camera with me, I don't take a picture. And so this one kind of served as a reminder to your composition and what you see with whatever camera you have, make the most of it. And I felt like this photo did a pretty good job of making the most of where they were. And maybe they didn't have their, right camera with them, but they still took an interesting photo. And so think about like the symmetry, right? 2 feet pointing at each other, but also even further than that, by being at the apex of the corner, we have a triangle instead of a square. Again, rule of odds, a triangle is 3. And so we have a triangle pointing down at the human feet. And so we kind of have this call and response with the diagonals and the feet going back and forth. Now, is it technically perfect? No. The human feet are a little bit underexposed. And it looked like they were wearing some very strappy sandals. But I kind of like the straps of the sandals as it relates to the blood on the statue's feet. And so there's just a lot going on here. And so, I kind of liked that it was shot as a snapshot and not, a perfectly lit, perfectly exposed, whatever. It kind of has a gritty, grimy, dirty, element to it that I think kind of works for it. So.
Next is Namaste. Dinner with a straw. And that's for me to talk about. Let's see. Really fun image, Brian says. A slightly tighter crop would have made this moment more intimate. I think he's referring to the little bit of extra negative space at the bottom of the image. By cropping it a little closer, it probably would have improved the image. I would agree with that. Clearly, I mean, this is just an outstanding image in terms of exposure and detail, sharpness. I mean, there's, you know, that this, I think the damselfly, only a very small part of one wing is slightly out of focus. Everything else is just tack sharp. So this is really well done. And this spider, which I've never seen one like that, is beautifully captured. The almost translucent legs are, and with a contrast, of course, to the sharp detail in the insects. And you've got this totally blurred out background, which helps, you know, make your subject stand out that much sharper. Wow, I can even see a filament of thread of spider web coming out the back of the spider. And you never see that. So that is amazing. Well, I think that is just a really, really good shot. Well done.
My 9-year-old loved this one.
Wow, that. Next is forest floor after the rain.
That's mine. So I like the black and white treatment of this. It makes, I mean, obviously from the title, the leaves are wet, and the black and white makes them look metallic, basically. They're very shiny. I think the exposure is really good. I love the abstract patterns and all. I mean, there's patterns all over the place on this photo. So anyway, I think it's a very nice photo.
Yeah, I like the way the blacks really go to black.
Yeah, right.
Helps make everything else stand out. Next is conjoined. Monarch. Wash day in Varanasi, India.
This is mine. Another really interesting photo. There's a lot going on in this photo, and the patterns are really good. I mean, all the clothes laid out on the walls or on the steps are very colorful and contrast well against the white and yellow steps. I think the people add some action in the photo. There, you know, it does evoke some emotion, obviously. And I think it's a very good photo.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Rise. Under the Milky Way. And that's Brian's going to talk about this for me. He just said, this is an amazing shot. Great capture of the dying light of the sun and the infinite size of the Milky Way. I mean, that is a beautiful catch of the Milky Way arc, getting it from, you know, at the horizon, come back around. What I liked too was the way these bushes come, and plants on either end come up to meet the Milky Way, giving it this kind of oval appearance. Now, Brian did mention, and I agree, that it would have been nice to have the stream not cropped out quite so close. I don't know if there's a cliff that makes that impossible, but that would have made for like almost an eye look to it. But that was one of his suggestions. The sharpness of the stars is really good. There's probably a very tiny bit of motion blur in there. But it's still not enough, especially when you're sitting back, that you could notice that. You'd have to be really looking at it closely. The colors in the Milky Way, you know, the purples and the whites and the blues are really cool. Brian, and this again is going to be super subjective, knows that this photographer in the lower corner on the right is probably there for scale, or just because we couldn't get the guy to move his ass.
Yeah, that lazy dude. I hate that guy.
Yeah, I know who he is. But that's. I think that can make some pictures look even better. My personal opinion is this doesn't take away from the image, but that's again that was just his comment about that. He felt that it might look better without that in there. But otherwise, excellent, amazing shot, he says.
No.
You could put that cursor in motion and it would be a UFO.
Oh, yeah, I need to put that down, don't I? All right. Enough on that. Next.
Salmon photo. That's a salmon photo.
Salmon.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
what's for dinner.
So this is mine. I probably shouldn't have picked this one to critique because it's such a good photo. I mean, there's no doubt about what the bear's looking at. And
Or what the salmon's looking at.
exactly. I think the shutter speed is perfect. I mean, you can see the water perfectly. The background is blurred perfectly. I just love the bear's eyes in this picture. I mean, they are just so focused on that salmon. So, I mean, I couldn't find anything wrong with this photo. I think it's excellent.
Bare truth. Okay, next is Delphic.
This is one of mine.
Okay.
So earlier in the meeting, I talked about how sometimes that by showing less, you make it more interesting. And this is the photo that I was talking about. There's only like 2% of this photo that's exposed. But my goodness, how interesting is it? I have zero idea what this photo is. It could be a sand dune. It could be somebody's shoulder. It could be a dusty book. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And there's part of me that wants to know. I think it's a sand dune, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's such an interesting ray of light. And as photographers, isn't that what we always are, like a moth to a flame? We see an interesting ray of light. We're like, I got to do something with that. And it's just, I don't know. It's just beautiful. I love it. I wouldn't change a single pixel about this photo.
Agreed. Next is window reflection. Many layers of windows. Rainbow hair. I don't know how I came up with that title. Village repair work.
There's one of mine. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So I have another question for y'all. When you're looking at this photo, how many times looking through it until you saw there was a dog in the photo? Right? Look how many layers there are. So we have a pair of workmen in blue. We have a woman in a green dress in the shadows against yellow. And then we have an orange layer. And then we have this diagonal line going all the way through the background. So again, we have shoes as a foreground, people as a middle ground, people in the background, a dog in the very background. A lot of layers going on here. And I like that there's not anybody looking at the photographer. It's really hard to shoot at this. This person was close, right? It's shot at probably a 50 mil, I'm guessing, somewhere in that range. And not having anybody pay attention to the person taking the photo. So that was interesting. And is there any doubt where we are, right? We have obviously a cow, a Brahma bull that's not going anywhere. So, and then we have script in the window. So we know it's India without even seeing a title. But all these colors, right? The yellow, the blue, the green, the orange, but then the depth of the photo, right? We have something going on, some repair work going on, and just a bull chilling, a dog sniffing around. Like, I don't know. I love the layers and the depths and the colors of this.
Thank you, Josh. Next is playing with his food. That's great timing.
That's also how I eat.
Model and tree.
Yeah, we do need work on titles. I'm guilty of it too.
Pub musicians. Doors open. Come on up. I really like the play of light and shadow in this one. Aspen glow. Burn of Copper Creek. And lastly, but not least, is stupa within stupa. I had to look up stupa because I'm stupid. And it's a Buddhist shrine. And from the title, I guess we've got one that inside another. I don't know if that's a traditional thing. The author will have to tell us. But looks like one is kind of broken away to expose the other. In any case, I'll go over Brian's notes here. He really enjoyed the tone of the photograph, especially and the composition, especially like the difference in the types of clouds that we see here. You have this big bank of soft puffy clouds, and we got a bunch of small bright light clouds, and it just gives a real interesting look to the sky. I'm guessing that this is another IR image from one of our famous members. And detail in the foreground is great, but their detail in the clouds is good too for what you need up there. Let's see. I felt it was a little bit dark in spots, and I agree. I think it could, the shadows could be brought out just a little bit more, but that's relatively minor compared to all the great qualities of this image. Anyway, this I'm sure gives a great flavor of what it's like to visit this country, which I'm guessing is Bhutan, just from stuff I've seen on Facebook, but it could be somewhere else. I guess we'll find out later. So, good job. Well, Mary, maybe you can tell us, where is this?
Myanmar, Bagan.
Okay, but I was wrong. Anything else you want to say about stupas, since we don't get to see any of those?
A lot of them, they started building them in 7th and 8th century, and then as they started to crumble, they would encase them in larger ones. But the construction of the more recent ones obviously is less good, so they tend to crumble, and then you see the original. You can't take apart a stupa because like Buddha's tooth is in there, so you never pull it apart. You just cover it up and cover it up.
Ah, interesting. Well, thanks for that. Okay, so now we'll go to the winners in this class. We have 4 honorable mentions. First is Aspen Glow. Honorable mention for Salmon, it's What's for Dinner. Congratulations, Stephen. Another one of your great bear pictures. You've got lots of them. Dinner with a Straw by Dennis Bosserman. Amazing. Just really well done.
Yeah, really good, Dennis.
It's a green spider, a green Lennox spider, and I actually watched him for about 3 months before getting that picture.
Wow.
That is, so he's going to eat that whole thing? suck out the juices, I guess. That's really cool. Third place is Under the Milky Way, Stephen Burkich.
Yeah, without that photo bomb, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, there was a lot of photo bombing that night.
Yeah, there was.
Actually, you should have had a flashlight pointing at the heavens for him.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Second place, Josh Baker for is that Namaste? Is that how you say that?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Like when you wake up in the morning, you say namaste in bed.
Oh.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and first place, Josh Baker for rainbow hair. There's a lot to that one.
Yeah, that photo took a little bit of editing. I had to fix all her hair. You could see the flashes. Yeah, that was just a nice, easy 5-strobe setup.
Just what we always do.
That's it.
Plus a light wand.
Yeah.
You didn't go with a 6-strobe?
Well, it was what's really funny, honestly, technically 6 because there's a light wand, so 5 strobes on a light wand. But if I showed you the setup of where we took this, I don't know that anybody would believe me, but it's on my Instagram. But yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
we shot this in a hallway at an apartment, like just no. Yeah.
Wow.
Is that hair being blown by a fan? What is?
No, she's
jumping up and down.
She's just tossing it, just throwing her hair up.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
cool. I mean, it's envisioning this to create it is hard enough, but then the technicals of actually making it happen, that's something. And so kudos there. Really.
Yeah. Well, just like everything, it wasn't just me. So I was shooting, setting up the lights, but she's also a makeup artist that I work with a lot. And so without her having done like her lips and her face in that way, it wouldn't have been as strong. And then her fiance was there to help. He's also a kind of a photographer. So he was there to help me like move lights and do stuff. And then there was another person there to help with wardrobe. So like, it's one of those things like, I get credit for it, but it's really, any good photo is really more than just one person. Generally, a portrait like this, right? It's very rarely just the photographer. There's a lot going on there.
Thanks for being so candid, but still, we know where the idea came from. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
What's really funny is that whole series started with I took a shower curtain and took 1 foot square gels and made a rainbow background, and that was. But then we were shooting it. I didn't like it, so then it's now in my storage unit. So if anybody wants a rainbow shower curtain, let me know.
Cool. Always come in handy. Okay, well, the last item on our agenda are the People's Choice Awards. Those are voted on the website by all the club members who wish to participate in that, and the winners are based on the total number of votes they got, and you get more first place votes. They rate higher, weight higher. So in the advanced group, we have a bronze. It goes to Stephen Burkich.
Woohoo! People's Choice.
Silver goes to Stephen Burkich. And gold went to Dennis Bosserman.
Nice. Yeah, that's a beautiful photo.
Yep. In the basic division, Donna Smith, the bronze award for Hookem. Beautiful image. Winner, chicken dinner goes to Ronnie Duke. Silver. And for gold is Nagaraju Gajula for hummingbirds. Really cool.
Yeah, that was so great.
And the intermediate division, bronze, goes to Patty Robertson for the Old Homestead. Cranes coming in for landing, Roberto White. And David Margulis for Morning Croton Gorge. They're all great images, all well deserving. I'm just really, I'm not just saying this, I believe it now. I mean, people are just getting better and better.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably all inspiring each other and teaching each other. And people are, I see a lot of people posting educational references on the Facebook page. And so obviously people are exploring different techniques, methods, and ideas for subjects. So congratulations to you all. You should all be proud, whether you were in tonight's winners group or not, because there really were no terrible images. Most of them were really well done. And, I didn't see the preponderance of snapshots that we've had in the years past, that somebody just, oh, that looks interesting. There obviously is attention to what's going on. So I really like
do you want to say anything about next month's theme, cityscapes? Or
no, it's
nightscapes.
I think it's night shots or nightscapes. I mean, it's going to be something that's, as it says, it's got to be a night shot. So most of us don't have many of those, and hopefully it will spur people to go out and look for something interesting in the nighttime. I know it's getting out and about is not as easy or as safe as it was, but I think for this type of shot, it probably won't be too risky in terms of coronavirus.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, can you unshare your screen so that we can get the grid of faces back?
Yeah, let's see. Can you unshare myself?
I don't know.
At the top of the screen, you should be able to unshare.
Okay.
I'll see if I can do it here.
That's like being able to see faces.
Yeah, I lost the.
Let me.
I lost the WebEx screen. That's why I can't find a.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get Ed.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
You got it?
Stop sharing. Okay, I stopped sharing.
Oh, there we go. I can see Steven's bear again. That makes me happier. That's good. That sounded grosser than I meant it to sound.
Steven's bear what?
So can I throw in a little plug? I am teaching a Milky Way class at Precision what's today? Thursday. So next Saturday. And I believe Photo Club still has a coupon code when you sign up. So any class I teach at Precision, I took money out of my pocket to give everybody else a discount. I think it's still NAPfS 19. Try it. And if it doesn't work, call and yell at Casey. But here, I'll type it. It should be all caps. NAPfS 19 should give you 10% off your classes that I teach at Precision. So anyway, if you want to go out, if you've never shot Milky Way before, we're going to be doing some fun stuff out at Reveille Peak on Saturday, whatever that next Saturday is, 14th, 15th, whatever the Saturday is. 15th, yeah. So the 15th, we're going to be going out with Precisions. But if y'all are going out, can I just make one recommendation? Not necessarily in my class, but if you're going out in the night, take a buddy with you. I've had enough experiences where I've almost fallen asleep on the drive home and some other things. If you're going to be going out and doing stuff at night, especially to an area maybe you haven't been, please be safe and take a friend or somebody to either help you drive or just to be there. That photo that Steven posted, that's me hanging off the edge of a cliff at night. And if I had taken 2 steps wrong, I would be dead. So please be careful. And, take a friend, take somebody, just so that if something, if you twist your ankle hiking back, someone can go and get help or anything like that. Cause where that photo was, it was a 2-mile hike in and a 2-mile hike out. So if you had been there by yourself and you had rolled an ankle at midnight, it'd be a while before somebody had come and got you. And not a lot of cell phone signal. So please just be safe and smart when you're going out. Yeah. Where's Aiden?
And just make sure the porcupine doesn't get you.
Oh yeah, I forgot we saw a porcupine. That was crazy. We're at midnight. We're hiking back from that spot, and I'm headlamping. I'm like, man, I think it's maybe a raccoon or something. As this porcupine waddles away. Oh, all right.
Where's the pic of that?
It was we were hiking, man. It was like midnight. All we had was headlamps on.
That's right. Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah, that was
Time I
cool.
met sounds like the time I met a skunk. You know, I didn't get a picture because I didn't want to know him that well.
Yeah, exactly,
That's a
exactly.
scary thing.
So
Uh,
if it was late, what was the light on the horizon?
that's City Glow from Lampasas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the problems with Milky Way is that, well, in this area, so Milky Way right now is generally southwest, that galactic core. And so if you go somewhere north, you're pointing back into cities generally. It's hard to find places that don't have light pollution. So there's kind of two ways to fix that. One is to get a lower composition to where that's not part of it. If you're up on a hill, you're kind of you'll see the horizon. But if you're lower and put maybe a hill or mountain, you can kind of block it off compositionally. The other way you can solve that there are some filters you can put on your lens that cut out just the specific wavelength of sodium vapor lights. I can't think of what they're called right now. Lonely Speck.
Filters.
Yeah, Lonely Speck has them. Some other places have them as well, but it cuts out just the specific, like that red orange wavelength of sodium vapor lights, and it allows all other light to come through. But they're on. I know. I just looked on Lonely Speck today, and they're in stock there. I've been thinking about getting one because I hate city lights at night when you're trying to do Milky Way. It's kind of problematic. But yeah, generally a really good app for it as well. It's called Photo Pills. If you get the app, it's like $10, but it's amazing for planning your where you're going to be ahead of time. But watch the tutorials. It's like an hour long, but it will make your life so much easier. Watch the tutorials because it was written by a guy in Spain and he thinks differently. And like where you go to hit things, you're like, oh, I don't know. But
There's one on Kelby one too.
Is there?
By an Eric Kuna, Rocket Man Eric Kuna.
Okay, yeah.
And he goes through a whole hour class on how to use it.
Yeah, so it's good. It's a really good app, but there's other ones out there. But just, like plan your trip so you're not just hiking around lost at night. Have some intention of where you're going. If anybody wants to know like spots to go, feel free to message me. I spend a lot of time like out in the woods at night. So yeah. Inks Lake is good. Reveille Peak Ranch is good. Pinellas Falls is pretty good. If you want better, you have to drive farther, right? So then it becomes more of a logistic thing, getting out to like Big Bend or Paladaro Canyon or something. Or actually a good one, because you're pointed south, can be South Padre Island. Padre Island National Seashore, not a lot of light pollution. You're pointed south, so that can be good. Not a lot compositionally, right? It's sand and coastline. But they can be good for getting the night sky, so.
Well, I liked the fact that there was that light in that because it did add interest.
I offered to like kick off a flash and stuff and like really light it up, but we probably would have freaked out some park rangers if we started nuking the flash at full power at midnight. Look like an atomic bomb going off on the. Yeah, that's a really cool part. So that's where Steven shot that was Colorado Bend State Park, and to get there, it's on the Tie Split Trail. And it's about, you park at the Gorman Falls, and it's about a 2-mile walk in and a 2-mile walk out.
Yeah, just bring an air conditioner with you too.
Yeah.
I don't think Steve wants to go hiking with me anymore.
The hiking wasn't too bad. My brother was hurting the next day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I wanted to invite Donna Smith to talk about how she got the Hook'em Horns picture.
She doesn't. She's shy.
Yeah, I don't know. I was bike riding, and on my way home, I saw the Longhorn and just pulled over, and it was just right there by the side of the road.
Well, that
Did
was
a great job of that.
Nice shot. What for wildflower and everything is perfect setting.
Great, thank you.
And also for Charles, I wanted to know where I thought I saw a reflection of an airplane in the strawberry, but I wasn't sure.
Sorry, the Ramekin shot. I should have just called it delicious, but the Ramekin shot was one of the first usages of my home studio. That was actually shot at home. It's 2 pieces of poster board, a screen that has a sheer clipped over it, a shop light hanging from a chandelier, and a bunch of foam core surrounding it, and and then of course a little work with the gobo to try and get the light ratios over the object.
That was really good.
Talking about airplanes, the other shot, actually the keeping it shiny, the gentleman that's with the spray bottle, and let me tell you, there's a lot of airplane to shine. Okay, the gentleman with the spray bottle actually, he's having a great time, but how shall I say this? He's intellectually challenged, but he's on the team, and he keeps the airplane shiny, and everybody's happy to have him there.
Yeah.
Around the other side of the airplane and showed me the spot on the airplane where somebody had actually polished it even shinier than that, and you can tell the difference. And I tried to get a shot for that, and it didn't compositionally, it didn't come out as well. But that was at Oshkosh last year, and I also attended a little training session where the products that shine an airplane are sold, and of course they will also do it for you for a fee. And what we of course have to say about aluminum is that it instantly starts to oxidize. So if you shine the plane, shine the aluminum, and you don't seal it or seal it with a product immediately, it immediately starts to corrode.
And you said it was also for efficient use of gasoline. It actually improves the aerodynamics.
Does, but I'm sure that in this case, primarily it's done simply because it looks good. But I mean, it's just so much airplane that I mean, the choices with aluminum are you polish it and seal it, or you paint it. Because if you don't seal it or you don't paint it, I mean, you have corrosion, pretty much instantly.
The Concorde used to save $5,000 a flight by washing it every trip.
Wow.
I wanted to invite Ronnie Duke to tell us about the chicken, how it was achieved, how she got that picture.
Winter chicken dinner. Come on.
Winter chicken dinner.
Yeah, that was in Cyprus. We were going to eat, and I believe that they're smiling at my husband because he pretty much, makes everybody his friend. But yeah, they were just out there, and it's like a little cafe, and they were working on the chicken out there.
How was it processed? Was it processed differently or in any way?
It was kind of really, I guess I went black and white with it, and I might have adjusted maybe contrast and blacks and whites just a little bit, but I didn't do a whole lot to it, actually. Just kind of a lucky catch.
Who did the chicken?
Ronnie Duke.
No, I mean, who is the roasters?
Oh,
well, the guy that's actually standing in the picture, I guess, is the chicken roaster for the restaurant, and the guy that is to the right was actually our bus driver, and he was a handful. He was funny.
Pollos hermanos.
Or however you say that in Greek.
Yeah.
Makes me really want to go get some chicken.
Cool. Anybody else got anything? Anybody else have anything they want to share?
Yeah, I've got a little joy that happened with me. I entered that NATurescapes photo contest at the Hill Country Photo Club out of San Marcos has every year, and that's they've got a juror on that one, and you can enter 4 photos for $15 or 8 for $25. So I increased my odds by spending $25. But I got 4 out of 8. Got accepted into the show, and I'm going to have Prince down there. And they have a reception down there on September 22nd if they're able to even get together. But the photos will be displayed from the middle of August until October. And we'll see how that turns out. I think it's $100 for each winner. And then you can sell your work there too. And the club gets a commission to help them with their expenses. But I was kind of shocked to get 4 out of 8.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Good.
Yeah, and I had landscapes, and I had a bunch of stuff, but 4 of them were some of my best bird pictures, and it was all birds. So, go figure.
No surprise.
Cool. Anybody else?
No.
Can anybody talk to the picture that Josh said had lots of layers, the one from India where the 2 guys are fixing the door or whatever?
I'm guessing it's Patty.
It's either Patty or
Debbie.
Debbie, yeah.
It was mine. In India, it was really easy to take street shots because everybody loved to have their photos taken. And so I got real comfortable and just was constantly taking pictures. And it was probably one shot because of moving around. I don't remember specifically a lot about it, but I
Come here.
Were you with a group? Were you with a group or on your own?
I'm not sure. It was my own with a friend, and at points so we'd have maybe a guide with us. I don't remember. I'd have to look where exactly that shot was taken. So but it would have been for people.
But the subjects of your photo weren't even paying attention to you, is what it
Because
looked
he's dark like this.
Well, they were all looking at the work being done in the photo. So, and I'm sure it was something where I just quickly picked up the camera, and before anybody noticed I was there. Sorry, I don't have a story to that.
It's been difficult getting dragging that cow into the picture and making the dog still.
Yeah, I was standing there going, no, don't look at me. Act like you're in a movie. That's what I used to tell my art students when they're working, because they'd automatically look at me, and I'd be like, no, act like a movie. And like you don't know the camera's there. They were usually pretty good about that. It worked.
All right.
All right.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and participating.
Yeah.
Voting, displaying.
Yeah. Good times. Alexandra and y'all, thanks for being at y'all's first one.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks with we'll have that going.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing.
Yeah. Okay, group hug.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's such a concentration of just awesome images. It's, the more we do this, the more, the more random it seems that, that we decide who wins, just because they're all so good.
There's a lot to choose from.
That's right. When I first started with the club, you're right, there were snapshots in there. And it's like, isn't the ocean supposed to be level, and stuff like that? And it's gotten pretty amazing.
Yeah, because then all the back of y'all's heads is Josh saying mean things. Just
Yeah, that's right.
level the horizon. Level the horizon. That's good. That's good. All right, guys. Well, it's good seeing everybody. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And
All right.
Bye.
Go out and shoot some night stuff.
Yeah.
You know it.
Awesome. All right. See ya.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Thanks.